What's up, guys? My name is Adam and welcome to Jamsville. Today we're going to be talking about how the master, Jimmy Page, plays the blues. And one of the things that he does that makes it sound really creative and interesting. Now, Jimmy Page has about a million other techniques that he has available to him at any given time, but this one we're going to talk about, to me, is one of the really defining aspects of his playing. Even though he's certainly not the only person that's used this technique, including guys like T-Bone Walker, who I'm sure that Jimmy Page learned from. Also, for those of you that don't play guitar and you just want to sound better playing blues, this concept is completely applicable to you. Just please don't be one of those people that says, blues? That's easy. All you have to do is run pentatonic scales over and over and over. Okay guys, let's get right into it. So to get started with this concept, we're going to use the same E minor pentatonic shape that you guys already know already. Goes like this. But we're going to use a couple of different notes that aren't in that scale. So the first one that we're going to add is this C sharp note here on the 14th fret of the B string. And you'll notice that this is directly to the left of your D note, which is in your pentatonic scale. We're going to add this note here again. The way that we're going to get to it is we're actually going to bend up into it from our B note, which is on the 12th fret of the B string. So I'll demonstrate really quick. So doing that bend from the B to the C sharp is going to be half of it. So the second note that we're going to add is going to be our G sharp note, which is located just to the right of our G note, which is, again, in our E minor pentatonic scale. That's our normal E minor pentatonic scale, and we're going to add this note to the right. But we're not just going to play it like that, we're going to bend into it exactly how we did with the C sharp note. Like so. So to recap, we're adding two notes to the E minor pentatonic scale. We're adding this note here, C sharp, and we're adding this note here, G sharp. But it kind of sounds lame if we just play them straight up like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to be bending into them from 2 frets down. So B goes up to C sharp. And then F sharp, which is just to the left of our G note, bends up to G sharp. So that's pretty much it. It's actually a very simple concept. Now, I don't want to get too into theoretical stuff, but what he's really doing is actually playing notes from the E major pentatonic scale, which looks like this. But usually when you play it in that context like that, again, just straight up, it doesn't really sound that great. It sounds much better when you bend into the notes like this. And that way you can combine them with your minor pentatonic scale, and it sounds really interesting because you're actually playing 2 scales at the same time. So I'm going to give you guys 2 licks to learn that incorporate this technique, but I encourage you to try to make your own licks up and really figure this out all over the fretboard if you can. Here's the first lick. Okay, so here's that lick played really slow. What we have going on here is we're starting up here at the 15th fret on the high E string, again in our same pentatonic box we've been working with, and we're just going like this. That's the first part of the phrase. And now we're going to do almost the same shape, except instead of there being 2 frets in between the notes on the strings, there's only going to be 1 fret, and we're going to move it back here to starting on the 12th fret of the E string. So the second shape goes like this. So far we have. So for the next part, we go to our B string 12th fret and go. So next we're going to grab one of our special Jimmy Page notes by bending up to it a whole step. We're going to be using the G sharp here. So we're going to start on an F sharp, which is right here, this 11th fret on the G string, and bend it up from this note to this note. So we're going to get our G sharp, which is our major third. We're actually playing a major third instead of a minor pentatonic blues scale. So this is what it looks like. And then finally, we're just going to grab this A note down here. So the last part of the phrase looks like this. Alright, so one more lick for you guys to incorporate these concepts. I'll do it really slowly for you now. So the first part of this phrase is also based off of that same E minor pentatonic box, except that we're not going to play all the notes on the top two strings. We're only going to play the 15th fret and the 12th fret on the high E string, and then skip right down to the 12th fret on the B string, like this. And we're doing a pull-off from 15 to 12. Okay, so after we have this repetitive figure going on, we're just gonna go right up here to the 19th fret with our ring finger and bend up a whole step, like so. And then we're gonna end up on the 17th fret right below that. So, again, one more time. So again, the bend is just from the 19th fret, our B note, up to a C sharp, and then down to A note. Alright guys, so just to recap one last time, we take our minor pentatonic scale and we add the 6th scale degree and the major third by bending into them. It gives it a really nice majory but still bluesy sound that catches your attention. Throwing this technique in can help your blues playing sound a lot more melodic and not just like you're running a pentatonic scale. The reason it doesn't sound like you're running a pentatonic scale is because you're not. You're actually mixing two different scales together. Well, I guess because you're bending also, you're technically adding hundreds of microtonal notes. You can use the licks that I showed you to get used to the sound, but I really want you guys to focus on what the notes are and focus on how they relate to your original minor pentatonic scale. Next time you're improvising, try throwing some of these notes in on the beginnings, middles, and ends of your phrases. You can hear Jimmy Page using this technique on almost all of his records, but one that I really recommend checking out for this one is the Led Zeppelin BBC sessions. Besides any of the wide array of tools and techniques that Jimmy Page possesses in order to play the blues, the most important thing that he does is always bring 100% intensity and focus to the situation, and is always listening and locked in with his band. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel because there's going to be a lot more great stuff coming soon. Until next time, listen, learn, and jam.